President believes the only way for America to dig itself out of a myriad of problems is, surprise, higher taxes, especially on corporations. We've heard all of this before, and already the fallout has begun on Wall Street. Welcome back for the Monday edition of Bulls, Bears, and Bucks. The Newsmax Director of Financial Newsletters, Jeff Yastine, joins us. Jeff, pleasure to see you. And by the way, did your team win on Sunday?
I think I said I was rooting for the Patriots, so I'll say yes.
Just making sure, that's all. I want to make sure you weren't going to back up and take one of those.
Either way, it was a heck of a game. It was very enjoyable to watch.
All right, there you go. Now let's see. Wall Street's back to work here. The president has talked about his budget proposal today. Now, how could this proposal force a company to take the money that they have overseas that they keep, because that's what he wants to tax, the money that's kept overseas, and then put it back into the economy? How does that work?
Well, they would basically have to make a choice. Do they pay this proposed surcharge that the administration wants to put out there, or is it better to bring that money back here at the threat of that surcharge and instead invest it into factories and expansion of other things that presumably will put more people back to work? But there's no guarantee of any of these things. In Japan, this is a similar problem. There's about $2 trillion that Japanese companies have in cash sitting either in offshore areas outside of Japan. About 2/3 of the $2 trillion, and about another third is in Japan. And yet Japanese companies are very reluctant to spend. They're reluctant to spend that cash. Part of that is just risk aversion. South Korea is another part of this situation. They have the largest, when you compare to the size of their economy, their companies are holding about $440 billion in cash, and they're not spending it. A lot of that relates to companies not wanting to be short of the money they need when we've had these various credit and financial problems. The Asian crisis that happened back in the 90s caught Japanese and South Korean companies short, and a lot of U.S. companies likewise are reluctant to bring that money back here, both for the taxes as well as wanting to just hold more cash in case there's another financial situation like we all experienced back 6 years ago.
All right, we'll just have to watch, because the president knows it's DOA. The Republicans have already said that, so it's going to be interesting to see where we go from here. It's always good to strike if you're going to go on strike when the iron is hot, and I guess the U.S. oil workers for the second day at 9 refineries hit the right time. Lots of gas out there. They want to go ahead and make sure they push to America that the gas keeps on going. It's about 10% of the U.S. refinery that we have right here, 10% of the refining capacity. Will this have any real effect whatsoever on gas prices right now?
Yeah, right now, the headline of this is what helped push oil prices up a little bit to $48, $49 a barrel last I checked earlier today. But what I find interesting is if this perhaps drags out longer, potentially it could involve more refining capacity within the U.S. and potentially throw up gasoline prices later this year. I mean, with the refinery business, one part of the year, like now, they would be done doing their heating fuel refining and would be aiming at building up their stockpiles of regular gasoline for the summer driving season to come. If for some reason more refining capacity is taken offline and more Americans choose to hit the roads this summer, or we have a hot summer with more energy being consumed with higher higher temperatures, then potentially, likewise, we see the potential for bigger gasoline price rises somewhere down the road.
I only got about 30 seconds left, and I find this one interesting. Is Yahoo worth saving? I mean, wait a minute. Yahoo's supposed to be a monstrous company worth billions of dollars. Why would this even be a consideration?
I think that the focus here is on whether Yahoo can continue to grow, or is most of Yahoo's value built on its huge stake in Alibaba, because it was an early investor in that Chinese e-commerce company. Marissa Mayer has chosen to announce the other day to spin off that Alibaba holding as its own sort of investment holding operation. So now it's sort of like, all right, what do we do with the legacy assets of Yahoo? Is there something really there? They throw off a lot of cash, but they don't really grow. And that's what the company and investors will have to decide in the coming quarters.
All right, find out more about Yahoo, everything that's happening on Wall Street. All you have to do is go to Newsmax.com, click on Money, or there it is right there. Go to Money News. Jeff Yastine and the team will tell you everything you need to know. Also, be sure to get your copy of the Warren Buffett's Next Door book by visiting FIR411.com. Jeff, thanks so much, my friend. We'll talk to you again later on this week.
Thanks, Ed.
All right, for once, the Super Bowl really was more about the game than the commercials. I think people downright hated some of them. Coming up.